In this tutorial, we're going to go through how to add the blocks that the balloon meets as it moves through the game. So when we click here, we're selecting the layer control, and that's going to get a little bit annoying. So what we're going to do is we're going to lock that off. And so all of these current objects, the ball, balloon, and touch control, are in the layer 0. So if you haven't got the layers tab open, you can go to Menu, View, Bars, and then Layers bar. And so what we're going to do, we're going to rename this layer 0, right click on the name and choose rename. And we're going to call this control. And we're going to lock that. Okay, so we're going to lock that layer. That's really important because now we can't select anything on this layer, which now means it's not going to get in the way of things. Okay, so just make sure you lock that. You can unlock it by just clicking on that. And we're going to add a new layer now. We'll right click in the empty space, right click and add layer at top. And this one's going to be called objects. Okay, so with this layer is objects. So make sure you've selected that layer because you can now be adding objects to this layer. So we double click because we're going to add a sprite, and this sprite is going to be square block. I'll spell square block. There we go. Then we're going to insert that. Click there, and we're just going to fill this with a color. Choose your favorite color. I'm going to go with that color. And now, so we've got this square. Now we're going to resize it. I remember holding down the shift key when you resize. You can make any size, and ultimately what you're going to be doing is you're going to be creating different kind of sections to your game. As you move up the game, you're going to be creating different patterns and shapes. You know, there's going to be rectangles and things like that. So just bear that in mind. This object we're going to add a behavior to, and this is going to be a physics and a solid. So we're going to go to behaviors. We're going to add new behavior, and it's going to be a solid. And add new behavior, and it's also going to be physics. Okay, so we'll close that, and so here we have solid behavior. Scroll down, and so we're going to go with the everything's standard except linear dampening, just to kind of smooth it out. We're going to give that 1. Sorry, I didn't show you. So click on linear dampening, change that to number 1, and that should do us. Again, these are the kind of things you can change, and so as you create as you create things further up the page, you can change physics aspects to this, and it will change the behavior, as it were, of the objects as they fall. They might float more gently, or they might kind of bounce more suddenly. So this is where you change that kind of thing, okay, to make it more difficult or more easy. Obviously, as you move up the game, you're meant to make it harder. So we've got this one. We can now duplicate this by just Control C for copy and Control V for paste. And you can just, as you click that, basically Control C, Control V. Every time you click Control V, you have to click because it gives you the cursor. So, okay, so we've got some objects there. Let's test out and see what they do. So we click play. And there they fall. So as you saw there that it hit this one, I'm going to hit F5 on the keyboard and that refreshes. And you can see that, I can use the touch control to move them around. Now remember, these fall off the screen because they're not bound to layout, whereas this one is bound to the layout, except that's not binding to the layout. It should do in the final game on the mobile phone. Okay, so we've got these objects, but they're not, they can hit the. If we play that again, you'll see they'll fall through, and they'll fall through the balloon, but nothing happens. Now, that's the programming aspect to it. So we're going to go to that now. So we're going to go to the event sheet. And so we're going to add some control over what happens when the blocks collide with the balloon. Okay, so we're going to add an event. So we click on add event, and this event is going to be a balloon event. So if something occurs with a balloon, okay, so that thing that we're going to check is we're going to see if it is in collision. So we say if it is in on collision with another object, next, and that other object is square block, we're going to now do something. We're going to add an action. Okay, um, so one of the things we want to do is we want the balloon to pop. Okay, so let's actually we'll add the balloon pop in the next tutorial. We're going to just quickly save this. If this ever occurs, sometimes that it might lose a little bit of synchronization. Make sure that everything's logged in, that this is logged in, and sometimes it might need a refresh with the Office 365. So just bear that in mind. When you click save, it should prompt you if it hasn't already, or it will just save automatically. Okay, so in the next tutorial, we're going to add the balloon pop.